Hi, I'm Anna. I'm 22, and I've got big dreams of making it as an artist. Right now, though, I'm stuck under my dad's roof. It's no easy ride. My father, Richard Thompson, is wealthy. More than wealthy, really. But he's also a complete control freak. He practically ran my mother into the ground, refusing her pleas for therapy in her final years. She died from a heart attack, her unhappiness echoing in every corner of our home. Dad always dismissed her feelings, saying therapy was pointless and calling her a victim for wanting to share our family's secrets with strangers. Since Mom passed, he's been suffocating me. It's like he thinks he can buy my loyalty with his money. Where do you think you're going? He barks every time I so much as glance at the front door. Just the art supply store, Dad. I'd reply, trying to keep calm. Be back in an hour. No exceptions, he'd say, like clockwork. But I had a lifeline. My boyfriend, Jake. He's been my rock. During late night, whispered calls, he'd say, "Babe, we need to get you out of there. I've been saving up. We could get a place together." It was tempting, but a little voice in my head kept whispering, "What if you fail?" My best friend Lily was the one who kept me strong. "Anna, you can't let him control your life forever," she'd tell me over coffee. "You're talented. You need to spread your wings." I knew she was right, but breaking free seemed impossible until I heard about the downtown art showcase. The renowned gallery owner Miss Winters would be there, scouting for new talent. This was my chance, my golden ticket. Only problem, the event would end hours after Dad's strict curfew. "I have to go, Lily," I whispered, pacing my room. "This could change everything." "Then go," Lily said firmly. "What's the worst that could happen?" So I did it. I snuck out, heart pounding, and headed for the showcase. The place was alive with energy, and there she was, Miss Winters, scrutinizing each piece. I approached her, gripping my portfolio with sweaty hands. "Miss Winters, I'm Anna," I said. "Would you take a look at my work?" She raised an eyebrow but took my portfolio, flipping through it as I held my breath. "Interesting," she said thoughtfully. "You have potential, Miss Thompson. Come by my gallery next week, and we'll talk more." I was over the moon. This was my moment. But a glance at my watch sent a cold shock through me. It was way past curfew. I hurried home, praying Dad was asleep. But as I tiptoed inside, the lights snapped on. There he was, sitting in his armchair, his face twisted in anger. "Where the hell have you been?" he demanded, his voice low but lethal. "Dad, please just listen for a second," I said, heart racing. "I was at an art showcase. A gallery owner wants to see my work. This could be my big break." "I don't care if the Queen of England wants to see your scribbles," he shouted. "You deliberately disobeyed me." "Dad." "Enough," he said, cutting me off. "You need to learn responsibility." Then he delivered the ultimatum that changed everything. "You have two choices, Anna. Marry the man I've chosen for you or be cut off. No money, no home, nothing." I thought he was joking. He had to be, but the cold, unyielding look in his eyes told me otherwise. "Marry? Dad, I'm only 22. And who is this guy anyway?" As if on cue, the door opened and in walked a stranger. He looked to be in his 40s with unkempt hair and clothes that had seen better days. His eyes darted nervously around the room. "Anna, meet Marcus," my dad said, a twisted smile spreading across his face. "I found him on the streets downtown. He'll be your husband." I felt like I was trapped in a nightmare. "This is insane. You can't be serious." "Oh, I'm very serious," he sneered. "You want to act like an adult? Fine, here are your options. Marry Marcus or get out." I glanced at Marcus, who looked as bewildered and frightened as I felt. "No," I said, my voice trembling. "You can't force me to marry a stranger." My dad's eyes narrowed, his tone turning colder. "Oh no. Then how about this? If you refuse, that art studio in the basement will be empty by morning. Every canvas, every brush, gone." My heart sank. That studio was my sanctuary, my escape from him. I tried to keep my composure, but then he added the final blow. "And let's not forget about Miss Winters. It would be a shame if she learned of your unstable behavior, your supposed tendency to steal and lie." I gasped, stunned. He was willing to destroy everything I'd worked for. I looked over at Marcus, who was staring at the floor, mumbling something under his breath. "Fine," I whispered, tears staining my eyes. "I'll do it." My father's smile widened with smug satisfaction. "Excellent. Judge Parker owes me a favor. He'll be here in an hour to perform the ceremony." In that moment, a realization hit me like a tidal wave. My mother hadn't been weak. She'd been broken by this man's twisted need for control. And now, I was his next target. The next hour passed in a daze. I stood in the living room, still in my clothes from the art show, as a bored-looking judge mumbled vows. Marcus's hand was clammy in mine as we exchanged cheap rings my father had scrounged up from somewhere. I now pronounce you husband and wife, the judge droned. But as I stood there, my new husband swaying beside me, I made a silent vow of my own. This isn't over. Somehow, some way, I would find a way out of this nightmare, and my father would pay for what he'd done. It's been a week since that nightmare of a wedding, and I'm still in shock. My father has forced me to move into the east wing of the mansion with Marcus. It's like a twisted fairy tale, except instead of a prince, I'm stuck with a man who mutters to himself in the dark. I finally managed to meet up with Lily at our favorite coffee shop. The moment she saw my face, she knew something was wrong. "Anna, what's going on? You look like hell." I broke down and told her everything. The forced marriage, Marcus, my dad's threats. By the time I finished, Lily's face was red with anger. "That manipulative bastard. This is abuse, Anna. We need to get you out of there." We spent hours brainstorming, but every option seemed impossible. My father would ruin my art career if I left and divorced. He'd probably find some way to block it. "What about Jake?" Lily asked. "Have you told him?" A pang of guilt twisted my stomach. I'd been avoiding Jake's calls, too ashamed to face him. But I knew I couldn't keep hiding. When I finally met Jake at the park, his reaction was just as I'd feared. "Married? To some random guy your dad picked out?" "Anna, what the hell?" He paced, running his hands through his hair, furious and heartbroken. "Why did you call me? I could have helped." "I'm sorry, Jake. I was scared. I didn't know what to do." Seeing how upset I was, he softened, wrapping me in his arms. "This is messed up, Anna, but we'll figure it out together." Back at the mansion, I was shocked to find Marcus in the living room, looking different. His hair was combed, his clothes were clean and pressed. Marcus, what's going on?" He sighed, his voice steady and clear for the first time. "Anna, we need to talk. I haven't been entirely honest with you." My jaw dropped as he explained. "I'm not homeless, and I'm not unstable. Your father hired me to play a part." I stared at him, speechless. "What?" "He's blackmailing me, Anna. He falsified evidence of a crime I didn't commit and threatened to turn it over to the cops if I didn't go along with his scheme." I could barely process his words. Just when I thought my father couldn't sink any lower, he dragged someone else into his twisted web. "Marcus, we have to stop him. This is insane." He nodded, his expression grim. "I'm with you. I can't live like this either." As we started plotting, I heard my dad's voice coming from his study, sharp and cutting through the silence. He was on the phone, and he sounded furious. "Listen, you idiot. I don't care how you do it. Just make sure those numbers are clean before the audit. Do you understand?" I shot a glance at Marcus, signaling him to stay quiet as we listened. It was clear. My father was involved in something shady, something big. Later that night, I called Jake. "I need your help. You're good with computers, right?" Within minutes, Jake had remotely hacked into my dad's computer. What we uncovered made my blood run cold. Emails detailing money laundering schemes, offshore accounts, even blackmail plots against his business rivals. "Anna," Jake said, his voice grave, "this is huge. Your dad could go to prison for this." I took a deep breath. Good. It's time he faced the consequences. The next morning, I gathered everyone in the living room, Lily, Jake, Marcus, and me, all huddled around the coffee table. I spread out the printouts of incriminating emails and financial records. My dad's been laundering money through his businesses for years. He's got offshore accounts, fake charities, everything. Jake nodded, pointing to a document. "Here's proof he's blackmailed at least 3 business partners. This is serious stuff, Anna." Lily looked at me with concern. "So what's the plan?" Marcus leaned forward. "We need to turn this over to the authorities. FBI, IRS, whoever can take him down." I nodded, my voice steady. I agreed, but first, I want to confront him. Give him one last chance to come clean. They all stared at me like I'd lost my mind. "Anna, are you sure that's safe?" Jake asked, worry clear in his eyes. "I have to do this for me." We spent the next hour mapping out every detail. Jake would anonymously tip off the FBI and IRS with copies of the evidence. Lily and Marcus would stay close by, ready to intervene if things got heated. With my heart racing, I walked to my father's study and knocked. "What is it, Anna?" he barked. I stepped inside, clutching a folder of evidence. "Dad, we need to talk." As I laid out everything I knew, his face turned from shock to fury. With each revelation, his face grew redder, his fists clenched tighter. "I'm giving you a chance, Dad. Turn yourself in. Make this right." For a fleeting moment, I thought I saw a flicker of remorse in his eyes. But then he snapped, lunging toward me. "You ungrateful little—" I stumbled backward, but he was faster. His hand clamped around my arm, squeezing hard. As he yanked me toward him, he lost his balance. We both tumbled, and his head struck the edge of his desk with a sickening crack. Blood pooled beneath him as he lay motionless. Panicked, I screamed for help. The next few hours blurred as paramedics, police, and FBI agents swarmed the mansion. My dad was rushed to the hospital with a severe concussion, while agents scoured his office for more evidence. Downtown, his business partners turned on him, each scrambling to offer up their own evidence in hopes of leniency. Amidst the chaos, a kind-faced lawyer sat with me, helping me file for an annulment of my marriage to Marcus. With the truth of our forced union exposed, the process was quick and painless. Finally, I was free. 1 year later, I stood in Miss Winters' gallery, surrounded by my artwork. Friends, art critics, and buyers moved through the room, sipping champagne and discussing my pieces. My heart swelled with a sense of belonging, of pride. The next day, I sat in a courtroom as the judge delivered my father's sentence: 20 years for fraud, money laundering, and blackmail. As they led him away in handcuffs, our eyes met one last time. For the first time, I saw defeat in his gaze. And with that, the nightmare ended. Surrounded by people who truly cared about me, I was finally free. Now, I have a question for you. If you were in my shoes, would you have forgiven your father after everything he did? Do you believe some actions are truly unforgivable, or is there always a path to reconciliation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences and perspectives could help others facing similar challenges. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more like it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world to me and helps me keep sharing these stories.